Van Dam's going to lead us in our pledge of allegiance.
Hang on your heart, follow me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, thank you. You know, one little tidbit, we got our shortest day was yesterday, so the day should be getting a little longer. I don't think we're going to notice it for a while, but anyway, we're heading in the right direction. The first item, we need a motion on adoption of agenda. And so,
Roll call.
Oh, we need to go back to roll call.
excuse me, I got way ahead. Okay. Madam Secretary.
Gary Van Dam,
Here.
Audrey Miller. Here. Robert Paris is not present. Keith Dias,
Here.
Drew Mercy is not present. Frank Donato,
Here.
George Lane,
Here.
General Manager Knutson,
Here.
General Counsel James Markman,
Here.
and Holly Hughes present.
Yeah, you know, thank you. Now we're gonna get back where we should be on the agenda, but voluntarily public roll call. If there's anybody listening in, if would like to identify themselves, we'd love to hear. Okay, we'll move on to item number 5, public comments. If there's any item that wish to address the board, if the item's not on the agenda, now's the time to do so. Item number 6, adoption of agenda, 6A1.
I'll make a motion, we adopt the agenda. This is Keith.
I'll second it.
We have a
This is Frank.
second. There's no further discussion or comments. Madam Secretary?
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller. Yes. Robert Paris is not present. Keith Dias,
Yes.
Drew Mercy is not present. Frank Donato,
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes, motion carried. Yeah, thank you. We'll move on to item number 7, consent calendar. We have 4 items on the consent calendar. Approved minutes of the regular board meeting of November 26th. Approved minutes of the special board meeting December 9th. And we have 2 items. We have the resolution, the county sanitation district. And we have the other item, annexation regarding Department of Water and Power. So we have 4 items. If there's no questions or comments, the board order would be in order.
Move to approve the consent calendar.
We have a motion by Director Van Dam.
Director Miller, a second.
Director Miller, we have a second. Hey, there's nothing further, Madam Secretary?
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller. Yes. Keith Dias,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. That'll bring us down to the Finance Committee. Director Donato is chairman of that committee. Turn it over to Frank.
Okay, thank you. So it'll be, board order, item 8A1, consider possible action to accept and file the check register list for the period of November 28th through December 11th, 2024. It's in your packet, and I think Matt will go over it.
All right. Thank you, Director Donato. Good evening, board. So in your board packet, again, on page 35 is the check run for the period of November 28th through December 11th. And on the first page, starting with item number 1, we have our monthly payment to Department of Water Resources for $1.88 million. This is for our monthly statement of charges bill, the Department of Water Resources. This does not include moving any water for this period. We'll get that you'll see that on the next check run. Moving down, I'll go through a few of these and the Finance Committee can jump in, but we went through this in detail last week. Item number 7 is a pass-through cost for board One Community Services District. This is to wheel water through their water system for delivery to Edwards. And it's $3,300 per month. It's a fixed fee, and we pass that cost on to Edwards Air Force Base. Item number 16 is a payment to Global Alliance Protection, just under $11,000. This is for security, physical security, have a person out at the east side water bank and the west side water bank to deter any vandalism or theft at those facilities. Any other questions on page 1 before we move on to page 2?
Yeah, one question. When did we start security out there?
Oh, West Side Water Bank was probably about 2 years ago, and then East Side's within last year, 6 months or so.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, moving on to page 2. Again, I'll hit the highlights. Item number 27. This is for janitorial services for 2 months, November and December, and it also includes purchasing some supplies for the cleaning of the buildings. So that's why you see it's a little bit higher than what we normally see. It's $6,500 for the 2 months plus supplies. Item number 34 is a cost associated with treating water that we deliver to Palmdale Water District, and then they return it back to AVAC for distribution to the Acton service area. It's sold to Waterworks District 37 in Acton, and this is for 1 month supply of treatment. It's about $40,500. Item 35 is our monthly medical insurance cost to JPIA. Item number 39, if you remember, that was recently approved by the board to increase what we offered through the Antelope Valley College Foundation Scholarship Program, and that's the Justin Lane Memorial Scholarship, and it's $1,600, and that's in addition to the $1,400 that we had through the AVC College Foundation. Item number 42 is a final payment, just under $60,000 to Farm Pump Irrigation. This is to rebuild 4 different pumps and motors at Court Sill Water Treatment Plant, the Willow Pump Station, the Antelope Valley Pump Station, and the Acton Pump Station. So those 4 sites, and that, like I said, it's the last progress payment for doing that work. Any other questions on this page? Hearing none. On to page 3. Item number 45, that's purchasing various sizes in mag meters. The board approved that back in August. If you remember, there was a sale of being offered for the mag meters. So we went ahead and pre-purchased various sizes while we were getting those at a discounted price. That's just about $81,000 for that. Item number 51 is a payment to the State Water Resource Control Board. It's for the ELAB fees. That stands for Environmental Laboratory Accreditation Program. And this is an annual cost of $5,500 to keep our water quality labs certified by the state. Anything else on that page? Hearing none, we'll move on to the 4th page. Nothing on this page really jumped out. All pretty routine items listed there. If there's no questions there, we'll move on to the 2 remaining checklists that have to do with the High Desert Water Bank project. All these costs are reimbursed by Metropolitan Water District. And Justin, do you want to hit the highlights on that? While Justin comes up here, also included in your board packet is a written monthly report provided by our construction management team for the High Desert Water Bank.
All right, thank you, Matt. Good evening, President Lane, members of the board. A few checks on here. Check number 1381 to Kennedy Jenks. That's for services related to construction management on the recharge basin project, as well as the well drilling project that's out right now. We'll likely see that cost go down a little bit in the next period as they've wrapped up the on-site inspection work for the recharge basin project. There's a payment here for Nicholas Construction. That's their final progress payment. We do still have their retention withheld, so that the next payment going out to them would be the release of retention after we file the notice of completion. We also have the water screen hoods, which were approved by the board. So there's a partial payment for that, as well as the design and engineering services to Stantec Consulting for work on the on-site electrical facilities, as well as the treatment memo. So that's it, unless there's any questions on the capital list. And then on the operation and maintenance.
I
Yes,
do have
sir.
a question.
Yeah.
Justin,
Mhm.
on these items, does the High Desert Water Bank Committee review those invoices?
They review the progress on the projects, and we update them regularly on the budget. The detail of the checks is reviewed with the finance committee.
Okay. Okay.
And then just some regular monthly items here on the O&M list. There's a couple things on there for purchase of some no trespassing signs for the site, as well as the monthly lease payment for the vehicle dedicated to the High Desert Water Bank. That does it.
Have you ever checked into the signs from Voss?
I did look up their company and got some good information on them. So the next time we need to do some signs, we'll certainly look at them.
John, you worked with them before. And you can get, signs with Avek's name on them, and these other signs are probably generic.
They are, yeah. And when we build out the site and start adding our gates and fencing and everything out there, we'll definitely probably look at getting some more professional signs done.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Justin. So anything else on the checklist for this period before we move on?
Not for me.
All right, I think we're looking for a motion to accept some.
Oh, yeah, I'll make it, okay.
A1, do we have a motion?
Move to approve A1.
A2,
We have a motion?
I'm confused. A1 or A?
8A1.
8A1.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we accept A1.
Okay, we have a motion. Was that a second, Frank?
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further questions or comments, Madam Secretary?
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes. Motion carried. Yeah, thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so now we're at 8A2, Treasurer's Report.
All right, thank you again, Director Donato. So Teresa has taken the evening off, well-deserved day off, so I'm gonna fill in for her this evening. Beginning on page 59 of your packet is the Treasurer's Report for the month ending November 30th, 2024. Some highlights of the Treasurer's Report. The ending balance for both cash and investments at November 30th was $143,555,707, which is an increase of about $3.2 million from the prior month. The yield to maturity at November 30th for the total portfolio was 4.648%, which is slightly down from a month ago. So it's down 0.055%. We're just seeing the effects of the lower interest rates there, but pretty minimal now. And the total days to maturity is 229 days, or approximately 8 months. The increase that we saw, that $3.2 million increase from the prior month, some of that is we're starting to see tax revenue come in to the agency, and typically the bigger months are December and April. So next month we'll see an even bigger increase because of the large tax revenue payment. The High Desert Water Bank capital account balance is, or was 1.143 million at November 30th. Metropolitan continues to pay all their invoices within the time frame, and to date we haven't had a problem managing that account, making all payments associated with High Desert Water Bank and keeping that account in a positive. Then if you move on to page 61 of your packet.
I had one question before we move on. What is our, I'm having trouble with this dark blue. What's the rate we have from Leith?
From Leith, so yeah, if you look at page 61, that's probably a good summary there.
The dark blue, what is that?
Oh yeah, it's 4.477, so just under 4.5%. So on this page, we hit the highlights. In the color coding at the top left, you can see the different portfolios or amounts of our portfolio invested with the different banks.
So with Leith, we're doing almost better than any other thing. It's a non-managed account on our part.
Exactly. Yeah, and the fees are minimal with Leith.
Are we limited to how much we can put in there, deposit?
That I don't know. I'll double check on that. But I believe there is some limitations with how much we can have in Leith. And you know, another positive with Leith is it's total liquidity. You know, we could pull it out at any time. So other highlights on this page.
These are all after commissions, so that's net to Avek.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, it's net of fees. Down the middle, you can see our capital assets. This includes all of our land, construction in progress, equipment, land, water treatment plant, capital assets, etc. But you can see banked water through the end of October. The value of our banked water is about 27.5 million. And that's just the value of what we paid to deliver the water to the bank. So that's up about 4.5 million from same time frame a year ago. And then down at the very bottom, you can see capital or capacity fees that we've received through the end of November, just about 2.5 million in capacity fees received. And that's pretty consistent with what we saw the same period a year ago. And those are pretty much the highlights.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments from the board? Okay, board order 8A2 to approve the finance treasurer's report. Motion would be in order.
Okay, I'll move on board order 8B2.
Yeah, we have a motion by Director Donato.
Second.
Second by Director Van Dam. If there's nothing further, Madam Secretary.
Gary Van Dam,
Yes.
Audrey Miller,
Yes.
Keith Dias,
Yes.
Frank Donato,
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes, motion carried. Thank you. Good report. Okay, we'll move on to item number 9. We're going to go back to our general manager, Matt.
All right. Thank you. So just a few things to update the board on. Hopefully you all saw my email earlier today, but we received a notification from DWR that they increased the state water project allocation from 5% to 15%.
Right.
So a little bump for us. That gives us about 21,700 acre feet of table A water for 2025. That's in addition to AVAC's 25,000 acre feet of carryover water, or also known as Article 56 water, that we have stored in San Luis Reservoir for use in 2025. So between those two volumes, we have 46,700 acre feet available to us.
So we're in good shape.
We're in really good shape. Plus our 100,000 plus acre feet of banked supplies here in the valley. So now that we're starting to kind of see what the water supply picture looks like for 2025, we'll present some options in our 2025 water supply plan to the board, and we plan to do that at the second board meeting in January. We'll lay out some options for the board to consider. That's good news there. You know, even though it's been dry down here in the southern part of California, up in the northern Sierra area, they are getting some storms up there. So that's reflective on the graph you see on the screen. The left graph, which is what they call the Northern Sierra 8 Station Index. So this watershed feeds the Feather River and the Sacramento River. So you can see the shaded blue, light blue is average for the period of going back to 1991. And you can see currently we're at 19.6 inches. So we're 126% of average for this date. So we're in good shape in the Northern Sierra. And then on the right, another index that we keep a close eye on is the San Joaquin Index. And this supplies the San Joaquin River and kind of that central Sierra watershed. Not as good there just because it's a little further south in the state, but we're currently at 6.4 inches and about 61% of average for this state. So not too bad. I mean, we still have a lot of time to make that up in the coming months, but wanted to share that with the board. And what we're seeing in the Northern Sierra Index is why we're starting to see those increases in our state water project allocation. Some good news here. At the fall conference early December, JPIA announced some awards for water agencies that have very low or no claims in either their liability, property, or workers' compensation program. So happy to report that AVEC received the President's special recognition in all three areas: our liability, property, and workers' comp program. We had no claims in any of those areas. So that's a
big accomplishment.
Big accomplishment, and it keeps our rates down.
Definitely.
As far as the insurance program. So kudos to all the staff for staying on top of that and working safely. And then upcoming events, not too much. We have our 2 holidays next week and a half ahead. And then we have our first board meeting in January on the 14th. And make sure you wear your best attire because we're going to swear in the 4 directors that were reelected, or reappointed. So, and then there's a little Santa promising to give us lots of water with an AVEC water drop. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Appreciate it. And we'll move on to item number 10. Any reports from the directors? Move to item number 11, attorney's report.
Just Merry Christmas, everybody. That's it.
Thank you much.
All right.
You also.
Thank you, Jim.
Request for future agenda items. We'll move on to, we do have need for closed session?
Yeah, I'll be fairly short.
Okay. So we have a motion to go into closed session.
Move to approve.
We have a motion.
Director Miller, second.
We have a second. So we're going to close session and take a 5-minute recess.
All right.
Yes.
George Lane.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Oh, is that